everyone, Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very, very much for joining me today. This is the card that I've been making today. Stay with me, I'll show you how I did it. Usually, when I'm making a card, I stamp the sentiment last, but today I'm going to do it first. So I'm going to use my Stamparatus to help me. I don't know what I did before I had my Stamparatus. It is so useful. And I'm using it to kind of line up my sentiment. I want it quite near to the bottom of the card. And I'm just kind of centering it there. Sorry for fiddling around with it. Okay, I think that's about right. Pick that up onto the plate of the Stamparatus. I've got the case that the stamps came in. It's this one I'm using. Know that today a friend is thinking of you. The stamps are part of my story. So there's not much time left in celebration, but there is a little bit of time till the end of this month, March 2019. So you have got time to earn this one if you're quick. I think we've still got some left. It's been crazy this year, celebration. Stuff has been flying out. So I'm just going to stamp that. And did I say I use crumb cake ink? And I'm just going to wipe that off with a microfiber cloth. Alright, now I can put that on one side until I am ready to move on to the next step. I've been over to the Big Shot and I've cut out some of the layering squares in Very Vanilla. I've cut 3 in this size and I have cut 3 in this size. Okay, but I've also got this size die, which is kind of in between those two sizes, and I'm going to use this one to emboss my card. So what I'm going to do is, I've got some post-it notes here, which are going to be my temporary adhesive, and I am lining up my die cut card with the die, right? So it fits almost exactly. It almost exactly covers the die. All right, and I'm going to use my post-it note as a temporary adhesive just to hold everything in place. Okay, don't need that bit. Let's get rid of it. It's only going to be a nuisance. All right, so this is the sandwich that I'm going to use with my Big Shot. I have my base plate with, if you've got the kind with tabs, none of them open. Don't use your magnetic plate for this. Okay, it's too thick. It will hurt your machine. My die face up with the card on top of it. My squishy grey mat on top. And my embossing plate. Mine is black. Yours could well be white. I'm going to go over to the Big Shot and run that through. I will be right back. And I am back. And I'm going to very carefully remove my post-it holding things in place. And now I have an embossed edge around the edge of my square. I've already done 2 others, so that is 3. But I'm not finished with the Big Shot yet, because put those out of the way. I have the 3 smaller squares that I cut, and I have my Country Floral Dynamic Embossing folder, and again with the same ink, the crumb cake ink. So this card is very kind of monochromatic. Get those out of the way because I don't want to ink those up accidentally, and I'm just treating it as though it were a stamp. I'm just inking it up, and I'm inking it up on the side where it says Stampin' Up. Alright, so I'm giving it a jolly good coat of crumb cake ink, and I'm going to take my 3 squares. I'm going to pop them in places where I think they're going to get a good pattern. I think that one would be a good pattern there. I think that will be a nice pattern. I think that will be a nice pattern. I'm just going to close them up. I'm going to get my platform, which is right here. Here it is. Platform, no flaps, no adapters. My embossing folder and 1 cutting plate, right? This is a dynamic folder, it's extra thick. It only needs 1. If you use 2, you break the machine. And there they are. And this is a water-based ink. A little bit of water on a microfiber cloth. Give it a wipe. Job is done. I'm just going to very lightly sponge around the edges of the embossed squares, just to give them a bit of dimension, make them stand up a bit. Seems I have mail. From the bottom, and 3/4 of an inch from the top. Let's go. Okay. I'm going to use my ruler to help me position these pieces, and I'm going to start at the bottom. Got dimensionals on the back of them, and I'm going to go 1.25 inches up from the bottom edge of the card. Okay, I think 1.5 inches would be too much, and I tried it out with 1 inch and it definitely wasn't enough, so I'm going to go with 1.25 inches. Okay, so from the top we'll go, let's see how we look with 3/4 of an inch. Does that look about right, or should that come down a bit? Should that be about 1 inch? So 1 inch, and then we'll have something that looks a bit like that. And I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch, I think, on the top. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll split the difference, and we will go 7/8 of an inch from the top. And all I'm doing is I'm lining up that edge on my ruler with the top of my card. I'm going to take the backing off the dimensionals, and I'm going to use the measurements on my ruler to help me center the square. It needs to come just slightly this way, a little teeny tiny bit. There we go. That'll do. And then if I do the middle one by eye, Bye. And let's use, again, the edge of my ruler to try and keep things straight, because I do have a tendency to go a bit boss-eyed on times. Okay. And I think that'll do. Okay, so now my 3 embossed pieces, one of which has gone AWOL, I'll find it in a moment. I'm just going to put a little bit of my liquid adhesive onto the back of it and pop that in so that it looks like it's in a frame. And my 3rd piece is trying to escape off my table here. And there we are. So there it is, that is the finished card. Now, if I were doing it again, I would probably bring this up just a fraction of an inch, because I think that is just a tiny bit too low, but it's, you know. And there it is, that is my finished monochrome card. So there it is, that is my finished monochrome card. And if I'm absolutely honest with myself, so there it is, there is my finished monochrome card. And if I were absolutely honest with myself, I think I would probably bring this up just a teeny tiny bit the next time I make a card like that. But you know what, I'll live with it, it's okay. So that is it for today, and thank you very, very much for joining me. Would love it if you came back and saw me again sometime soon. But for now, bye bye.